Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the NRG Championship. I'm Matt Bamonte. We're getting ready to do our last round here in stage number 2. We're going to send 2 more players into the top 8, and we're going to say goodbye to 2 more players here. We're going to bring up the pod so you can see everyone who was in our event. So we have been able to say goodbye to a few players, but we've also advanced some players, and I'm going to read you the players who are advanced into stage 3, which will happen tomorrow. From Pod A, Connor Mullally and Max Kamenowski, were the 2 that have advanced straight into stage 3. From Pod B, Raja Suleiman and Jesse Robkin were 1 and 2 in Pod B. And then the others who've already advanced here from our second portion, Nicole Dubin and our defending champion, Ivan Espinosa, still hanging in there, defending his crown. We're going to go ahead and advance 2 more players here. We have 2 matches going on. We're going to have Zoe Riederman facing off against Will Kruger. Again, these are win and in to the top 8 between Zoe and Will. We're also going to have our main match is going to be Piper Powell versus Andrew Elenbogen. So the winner of both of these matches is going to advance to our top 8, which is tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to send you back to Joe and Becky to get us into our last round of the day.
It's us. We're back.
We are indeed. Thanks, Matt and Andrew Elenbogen and Piper Powell. Now, we've talked a couple times about how good is Blood Moon against some of these decks, and well, we're finally getting to see it. This isn't a match where it's going to be at its absolute best, but it may somewhat disrupt Andrew, as the scam deck is just disrupting the opponents completely. That's all it's about, right?
Exactly what this deck is about, and I'm excited to see how Piper is going to pilot it. For a little bit of backstory, the winner of this match is going to be going in and coming back to play tomorrow morning alongside the winner of Will versus Zoe, Banthammer versus Living End. And for a little bit of backstory there too, they actually played in round 1 of this bracket. So Zoe previously won against Will, and now in this rematch we'll see if Will can find redemption, because they're playing for their spot in the next day.
Yes, indeed.
Of this
All
tournament.
right. So as opposed to shuffling up, yeah. So if you want to come back and watch tomorrow, we're starting at 9 a.m. Central Time. It will be double elimination, just like the 3 rounds you've just seen, except we'll be playing Pioneer this time. We're going to be starting out with 8 players tomorrow. We'll end up with 4, and that will be the top 4. That will be the afternoon matches. But up first, last match of the evening, Andrew Elenbogen versus Piper Powell. And Becky, we talked about whether it's presumptuous to make dinner reservations, during the match in the middle of your job. Well, I'll tell you what,
I heard
dinner plans 5 minutes ago. So
yeah, basically
you heard that?
screamed it.
Oh, I guess I was trying to get someone's attention. So yeah, maybe I did. Anyway, all right. So I guess people do things like that. Although, with 1 round left, I mean, it's completely within the realm of decency, I think. I mean, somebody's going to win this match in an hour, whoever it might
And
be.
Andrew is taking a mulligan here as well. Piper, believe, happy with this. Who do you think has better sleeve color choice? Do you like the purple or the kind of like blind your eyes yellow?
Oh, okay, Piper unsatisfied with the hand
Not
as
happy.
well. Yeah,
I was wrong.
Blind your eyes yellow? I don't know that's exactly how I would describe the color, but I would go with the purple ones, I think.
Okay. I think I'm a bigger fan of the yellow.
Yeah, okay.
But I have to say that I'm a fan of the purple because Andrew is my choice to win this tournament.
I suppose. Yeah, of course you're a fan of the yellow. Who are we talking about here? Pikachu has more yellow in it than purple, right?
Much more yellow. Granted, Pikachu isn't purple or that yellow, excuse me, but is definitely much more yellow.
What, like one of his primary colors?
He's like bright yellow, but like that's like a limey yellow, and he's more of like a warm hug orangey yellow.
I see. A hug yellow?
Have you seen Detective Pikachu? He looks so huggable.
No, I have not seen the movie. No.
You're a huge movie buff and you haven't seen Detective Pikachu?
Is that actually a crime? Am I missing out?
If you're gonna be my friend, it is.
Well, is that a sacrifice that I have to make? Is it worth making?
No, I actually have a lot of friends who haven't seen it. It breaks my heart, but it is just a sad reality of life that not everyone has time to watch every single movie that comes out, especially ones that pertain Pikachu.
I mean, okay. Well, as the players are still debating their hands, do I need backstory? Do I need to watch some certain number of episodes of the Pokemon show in order to appreciate the movie?
No, you don't need any backstory. You could like
Okay.
literally know nothing about Pokemon and watch it and probably still be fine.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe I'll put it on the list if I make a list. Anyway, Piper going to 5 here.
Oof. All right. Certainly rough, but Andrew happy with a 6. The Scamback is kind of interesting. I feel like you do mulligan kind of a lot in my time playing the deck, but I also feel like you're really hurt by mulliganing because a lot of your really strong starts require that you pitch cards. You are kind of taxed a lot more heavily on these mulligans, but you do want to make sure that you have a decent number of things. And I also imagine that Piper knows what Andrew is piloting at this point and is looking for what I believe are 2 copies of
Yeah, I
Dothy
was going to say,
Voidwalker.
when you're on 5 cards, the pitch cast elementals become somewhat less desirable. So having actual cards you can just cast straight from mana is probably preferable when you're crimped on mana. And okay, Andrew's got Ragavan and a Bauble, so that's not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, not too bad. Blackleaf Cliff's going to be the start for Piper and allowing for top of the deck to be peeked at from that Mishra's Bauble.
All right, Ragavan connects and finds a Grief. Well, that's not going to be something that gets a free cast here right away. So that's out of here. Not sure that Piper would necessarily wants to draw that right now either. Well, maybe, depending on what card she's holding right now. But I guess if we're going to have the conversation about how the incarnations aren't great when you're unlimited on hand size, then drawing one off the top probably isn't ideal.
Probably not too upset about that. Yep.
Maybe. It is good with Voidwalker, though. It is nice with Voidwalker. In fact, Voidwalker is just solid overall against Andrew's deck. Easy to kill, but if it can survive, it can do a lot.
And I believe Piper kept a hand with 2 of them, so is interested in getting one to stick. And if the first one doesn't, hey, always good to have a backup swamp coming down. And there it is, Dothy Voidwalker. A few cards off the top, but not to worry. We're able to put those right back.
Okay, Ragavan comes in again. I guess there's a significant risk that you flip over a removal spell that, okay, there's a Fury.
Whoa. Land drop, hardcast your Fury?
Oh, that would be ugly.
Oh, and also possible?
Hard to pass up, I would think.
Yeah, I agree. Hard to pass up. I feel like I wouldn't even be thinking about it nearly as much as Andrew is. I'd just be like, all right, let's go. All right, hovering over that island, and instead, we're looking.
I mean, yeah, well,
Oh, I think we are asking the question that chat was asking too, actually. Can you pitch cast a incarnation from a Ragavan?
Well, the question should be, do you even want to? I mean, you can just hardcast it.
That's what I'm saying. But Andrew may be wanting to had plans for the mana this turn and now is not wanting to get changed.
All right. Well, we'll wait for the answer to that. I'll admit I don't know the answer to this for sure either. I would guess that you cannot.
Yeah, I would also guess that you cannot. And it looks like Andrew is instead, gonna say, we're just gonna pay for it. Keep it in play on our side and take out that Dothy Voidwalker, as it does stop us from being able to get some things in the yard for our Underworld breaches later down the line.
right, third land. There's what? Bolt, Voidwalker, and Fable are 3 of the cards.
Yeah,
Oh, look
yeah.
at this. Now Andrew's like,
Well,
what
yep,
are you
I know. I
doing?
was like, you gotta be
Stay-
scared the moment that starts to happen.
Stay away from my stuff. And Piper's like, it's not your stuff. You just
It's
stole it. I'm
mine.
taking
That's
it
my
back.
fury. Yeah.
That was sick. Okay, so well, that wasn't quite the way that we normally see this scam deck occur their
Yeah,
creatures,
Fury, yeah.
but it works.
And I guess this could be reason that Andrew was not supposed to cast those incarnations off of Ragavan.
Maybe so. I mean, that certainly did not work out especially well.
But I think Piper also drew the lightning bolt. So like prior to that, it was like not really a possibility, and then all of a sudden was just like sick.
Yeah, no, that was very cool.
But it's not sick because Andrew Elenbogen is my choice to win this tournament. Andrew, come on.
All right. Mine's an Ether Spell Bomb. That's that's great and everything, but bouncing Fury isn't like the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And yet he's facing down has the Grape Shot in hand again. Let's see. We've played how many spells this turn? Iteration and
No.
Spell Bomb's not on the
I think
stack.
it's
It's not in play,
I think
right?
it's in
It's still
exile.
on the exile zone. Yeah. Okay. Andrew's like, how many cards do you have? Piper says 2, and Andrew's
Yeah.
like, how am I not ahead? Because I'm certainly not feeling as good as I was last turn.
To be fair, Piper's last turn was pretty sick, so
It was great. Yeah. All right. So maybe I guess spellbombing the Fury might actually be pretty good because it's
Yeah.
not like Piper can
yeah, if you've
easily
only got 2 cards in
redeploy it.
hand and you like aren't really that
Mhm.
close to 5 lands, and you're also getting rid of the counter, which considering that Fury has double strike, like the counter ends up adding up
Yeah.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
Breeding Pool going to be the pickup off of that Misty Rainforest. As Andrew's trying to decide what's happening. Spellbomb does come into play from exile off that iteration, getting to plus that run in 6 and trying to hold on in this game after a pretty rough set of turns that we got back and forth between.
Mm-hmm. All right. So Piper with, we believe, another Voidwalker and a Fable in hand, and probably can start this turn off with an attack. I would imagine attacking Andrew's life total, not the run in 6. Maybe.
Looks like the draw for a turn was a land, Fable, and Dothy Voidwalker,
Yeah.
the other cards available for Piper.
I guess. Okay, yeah. Attack first. Okay, attack Ren and Spell those bounce it. And it chooses Fable over the Voidwalker here. That's reasonable. I don't feel like it's an obvious decision, but I do think it's a reasonable
Yeah, I think
one.
it's hard. Now that you have this Fury back in hand, you're kind of just hoping to get a land drop to be able to, or a land drop / treasure because of this Goblin Shaman, to be able to cast that Fury should Andrew deploy anything on this next turn, / also be able to take care of the Renin 6 that's already kind of being a problem. So I like the decision that gets us there a little bit more reliably, even though Dothy Voidwalker is certainly a good card in this matchup.
Okay, iteration finds a Renin 6, another iteration, and a Mox. And the Renin 6 does go to the bottom. So that's 1 spell. That's 2 spells. I'm constantly trying to think, okay, how much can this Grape Shot do? When it's not really even significant on the board.
Yeah,
but
we've also never seen the Grey Shop even become close to castable in reality.
It killed a salt. It killed a Solitude earlier today.
Yeah, it did too. Because
Why
it
are
did
you
2 damage. That's the least damage. Well, okay, that might beat me here. Least damage I've ever seen
there you go.
a Grape Shot do. Okay, this time it's dealing 2 and 1. Okay.
You don't pretend that this doesn't matter.
You're right. Actually taking care of that goblin shaman that was going to give Piper a treasure to cast this fury is quite big here.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a pretty big fan of it. It just is really funny. I'm so used to like Grape Shot being this card that gets cast for like Storm equaling 8+ pretty reliably. And then now I've seen it cast for 2 and 3.
All right, I don't want to make
at
light
least
of
twice today.
Piper has a pretty tough decision, I would say, right now. With Fable rolling up to Chapter 2, the hand is Thoughtseize, Fury, and Wealthy Voidwalker. All 3 of those are decent cards.
Yeah.
But digging for the 5th land also makes quite a bit of sense.
We didn't find it. Okay.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that is...
It's a lightning bolt and a feign death, so like there's a roundabout way that we get there.
Okay.
I feel like I would wait until we could copy it, though. Maybe that's like a little bit too long to wait, but...
I mean, yeah, just bolting the red 6 seems reasonable also. That's just a simpler way to do the same thing and then wait for the next red card.
Yep. Puts us ahead on board to wait for the next red card or a land.
But I do think that was a fairly complicated decision there because Andrew has a number of cards in hand, so Thoughtseize is appealing.
And Piper has played...
And the Wealthy Voidwalker... And the And the Voidwalker plus the Thoughtseize is nice together. So I think arguments could have been made for almost any option there for Piper, including...
Yeah, exactly. And I was going to say that, like, I would have made kind of the complete opposite choice. I probably would have, like, gotten rid of the Thoughtseize and the Fury and kept the Wealthy Voidwalker, but my joke along it was going to be, Piper has played much more of this deck because I think that she really ended up picking the right call, and maybe that's just because like it ended up working out, and if it hadn't worked out, it wouldn't have felt that way, but has a better sense of what cards are likely to be drawn, which I think is non-zero. All right, Fable the Mirror Breaker, now Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. A land was drawn, so we do have a way to get this Fury online, but unfortunately it isn't going to be taking anything out on Andrew's side of the board, and Andrew kind of just gets to wait to make a construct on end of turn.
Yeah, Piper's turn may end up just playing the Blood Crypt tapped here without really having much all to do, which feels bad, but it's probably the right thing. Yeah, it's just Blood Crypt. That's it. Frustratingly, these constructs are going to jump from non-existent to already being too big for Fury to hit all at once. But a doubled up Fury would obviously get the job done.
Yep. And looks like immediately going to throw down another construct. Earlier in the day, we made it our job for the 2 constructs to match. And this time, they don't match.
It's late in the day.
A little bit.
Players are getting fatigued. Table spotters can get fatigued as well. I mean, as long as the table spotter recognizes that those are different, it doesn't just can't tell the difference anymore because it's round 10.
That's fair. Ooh, Haywire Might, unfortunately, doesn't get rid of Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. It says non-creature.
You are correct. I was going to say it's still an enchantment creature, but you're right. You're right.
That one I also know because I've tried to do, and then was like, why doesn't this work? And then I was like, reading the card explains the card.
That is frustratingly often the case.
I know. There's just so many things to read and so many things to remember. And so many strange rules that they often end up kind of getting lost in translation. Something that I also just like have not been paying like as close of attention to in this matchup has definitely been life totals, and Piper being at 8 with both of these constructs on the field alongside a small collection, a small treasury, if
Yeah.
you will, of artifacts is maybe not the most ideal for Piper.
Agreed. All right. There is active reflection, which is pretty awesome. But I do think Andrew might have an unholy heat that's been sitting in hand waiting for it. And he certainly has the comfort now of being the player that can just sit back and react because his board position is so much stronger.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, that is more pertinent here as well, is that these constructs are big enough that they don't die to just one Fury.
Okay, here is Fury. Piper Powell did draw a land, holds it in hand, possibly so that Andrew will. If Piper wants Andrew to kill the, let's see, kill the Fury, then this would be the way to do it. Is that a Boseiju? Yeah.
Yeah, Boseiju does take care of Kiki Jiki. It does allow us to get an untapped land, but unfortunately, that is not going to be the right timing that Piper would have liked.
Give Andrew Elenbogen credit. He had every time he's kept a Mishra's Wobble around, it has proven to be very relevant.
Yeah, I will agree. Something, something. There's a reason I picked him to be the winner of this tournament. Something, something. And now I've jinxed him and he's going to lose this game.
Wow. Oh, that was Black Cleaves Coast anyway, so that couldn't come into play on tap regardless.
Yeah.
Okay, so this Fury, this Fury will eat in on Holy Heat.
But
this is actually not going to work out well for Andrew here. Saving a mana by doing this end step instead of on his own turn, and now Construct will actually die. In fact, both of them will, because one had one short of lethal damage. That was an absolutely stunning turn of events.
This really hurts for Andrew, because now that's like the second time this game that this Fury has kind of just like completely backfired for him.
Yeah, that's correct. This is
the same Fury
at the Rag event cast. Yeah.
Grief?
Right.
You know cards in hand?
I mean, yeah, actually double black, not castable, and unclear how much stuff Andrew has left in hand. He's got more iterations. All right. Saga and Bolt, maybe he might be taking a hit from this Fury. You're right. This Fury has kind of been the undoing of Andrew Elenbogen so far this game.
Andrew Elenbogen's #1 nemesis, the full art Fury. And it's gonna hit for a lot too. So
it is. It's gonna hit very hard. Well, maybe not. There's Jonathan to hand. I think Rabbit at hand as well. Yep, there it goes. Not sure what the best draw for Piper Powell is here, but she's certainly gotten some work done from this Fury. This has been quite solid. And actually didn't have to get pitch cast either time. Andrew cast it once and Piper cast it once, both times from mana.
Lots of lands in play for Piper, so could do pretty much anything. And Andrew, unfortunately, with quite a few cards in hand, but not a lot happening on board. We're hoping that this Urza Saga maybe gets to a point where we can trade with the Fury, or we find another way to answer it, because this is a rough place to be in for sure for Andrew.
It's going to be checking the graveyard here. It's a Blood Moon. Get out of here, Urza Saga.
Oh, woof.
All right. Well, that's not game over, but it's not bad. Let's see.
Did things really
This
start to go tremendously wrong for Andrew the moment that I... Yeah, okay. NRG Series owner from across the United States came over the mic and said, yes, it did.
Okay, all right. Well, so yeah, 8 damage comes across. Andrew's still with tools here. He's got his Giganta, which may matter for the first time in recorded history, as well as that Ragavan, which, let's see, how much mana does 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Andrew does have plenty of mana to cast Giganta and dash Ragavan if he so chooses.
Yeah, things...
I don't know. Based on the way things have gone for Andrew when he's cast cards on Piper's deck, he might not want to.
All right, starting off with a dash Ragavan, getting a second treasure and nothing off of Piper's deck.
Well, there's now lethal damage on the board, so Andrew's going to need some kind of defense. Here's Giganta, which doesn't just chump block, it actually would trade with the Fury.
Yeah, that's not too bad. And we're just hoping that for fans of Andrew at home, that Piper doesn't draw a way to bring this Fury back from the dead or a way to take care of Giganta here.
Well, I imagine if it was something that would kill Giganta, we would have seen it. Piper wouldn't have to think too hard about that.
Yeah. It is worth mentioning that there are no like Terminates or Dread Wars for Piper's deck.
All right, it's a dash Ragavan.
And there are no Terminates, no Dread Wars. Just other ways to bring back the Furies.
All right, but Bolt takes down, so it's going to clear everything out here, which Piper empty-handed, Andrew with, I believe, 2 cards in hand, including a Ragavan. Draws Ren at 6, which I don't know, I think there's a basic force, but there are 2 treasures.
But once again, going to start off with a Ragavan that reveals a Thoughtseize, which might as well do a similar thing of not really revealing anything.
No, yeah, that's may as well be a land. And again, it's another card that Piper doesn't want to draw. So this Ragavan hasn't exactly done Andrew any favors in this game. In fact, it's done the exact opposite of that.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know that the playing of the Fury was not bad. Piper drew the exact thing that needed to go along. Granted, there's like a lot of...
I'm not criticizing Andrew's... I'm not criticizing Andrew's play. I'm just saying the way it turned out was an absolute disaster.
But in the end, it still ends up going Andrew's way. The difference in card advantage making up for a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what did I say? I told you running 6, shooting. And there it was. Andrew shot Piper. I mean, sure, Piper was at 2. It was different than when it was always at like 32, but whatever, same idea.
And we also both agreed that we would cast the Fury if it was revealed from the Ragavan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Did it end up looking like a horrendous decision there? Yes, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's so hard to not do it if you can cast a Fury on turn 3.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we see here Piper Powell's Rakdos scam deck list. Graveyard Hate is nice to be able to handle the Breach combo. However, there's 4 Voidwalkers already in the main. So are the Hitsugu Consumes All or the Licensed Hearse expressly necessary?
Yeah, I
Maybe,
don't know. I
maybe
feel
not.
like this is always like a hard place to be in with this deck too, is that unless you're getting like some really great kind of answers or changes to your deck for what you're playing against, it is kind of difficult to decide how you're kind of changing the viscosity of your deck with a lot of these sideboard cards and how much you really want to be how much you really want to spend your attention scamming someone
Sure.
on turn one.
Yeah, I mean, Hitsu consumes all. It blows up ones and zeros, right? Or it's not just ones; it's ones and zeros. So we'll take out constructs. So that's relevant. What is it better than Blood Moon at dealing with Urza Saga output? Maybe. There are certainly options here, but anyway, you can see there the deck. Let's go ahead and look at Andrew Elenbogen's Temur Breach deck. And the reason why you can't overload the graveyard is the graveyard is definitely relevant to this deck, but as we've seen, just with Ragavan and Urza Saga plus removal, you can certainly win without comboing. In fact, I don't think
I
we've
was going to
seen
say,
a
I
breach
think
deck
the only
combo
deck
today.
that Andrew Elenbogen has won with a breach was a time where he cast Underworld Breach, and the only thing he did was cast Fable the Mirror Breaker right after.
That's
That's
right.
the only
Yeah,
time that it's really been a breach win.
And then maybe there was some early this morning. I'm not sure, but yeah, you're right about that. So we see here the list. Basic land count. There's an island. There's a mountain. Is there a forest? The answer is no. So that's relevant for Blood Moon interactions, and Piper Powell will be very aware of that. There is Mox Amber, which you have run 6 in play, then you can make green, but then you can't get it into play if it's not already there. However, Ragavan Treasures are a relevant way to make green mana, even in the midst of a game.
Yeah, and this is always awkward too, because you have something like the Veil of Summers in your sideboard as well, or the Spell Pierces, but sometimes the really big turns that you're kind of trying to fade are turn one where you can't have those things as reactions, especially now that Piper is going to be on the play.
Right. Yes. I agree with you definitely there. Yeah. Veil, well, especially Veil, but Spell Pierce also, whether you even want this matchup, I'm not sure. But Veil, you would be much more interested in going first than going second.
We've also been made aware that the match that is not on camera of Will versus Zoe does end with Zoe ahead, and Zoe will be advancing into day number 2.
Congratulations to her. Will Kruger comes up just shy. So this is the last remaining match of day 1. There were only 2 matches played this round. The 2 matches of the 4 players that were 1-1 so far in the double elimination. So Zoe does advance. Who will join her, Andrew Elenbogen or Piper Powell? We'll find out. Game 2 underway.
Starting off with his Thoughtseize. Not exactly the refresh grief that we're kind of used to seeing or is famous for being done by this scam deck, but not a bad way to start against a deck like Andrew's. There's the grape shot in hand.
Of course, every time. There's also this is a 1-lane hand, but it's a turn 1 Emery hand for Andrew. So this Thoughtseize is going to be pretty significant here. I don't imagine you would take.
Do you not want to take Emery?
This is interesting. Well, I think I do want to take Emery. I think you could, if you were feeling greedy, you could take a bauble. And then hope Andrew doesn't draw another land next turn.
There's no bauble. That's true. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Alternatively, if you had, if you were Thoughtseizing now and then you had something like Grief planned for next turn, I'm not necessarily sure that would be a plan. That's like cards that could come to that conclusion. But if you did, then another reason to take bauble would be to try and strand it. I don't know. That's very.
Yeah.
I mean, that's risky.
Yeah, this is a tough decision for sure here for Piper.
I don't think you're taking any of the red cards, no matter what. Okay, and then
I don't know. I think there's a world where, like, I would maybe debate taking, like, the Wrenn and 6, because now, like, if we draw a land, the Wrenn and 6 is just going to be our way to continue getting lands over and over again.
Yeah, but I don't think you can give your opponent turn 1 Emery.
Did we just bobble ourselves or Piper?
We bubbled ourselves.
Piper also lifted up the top card.
Oh, well, okay, maybe I'm wrong.
There
I thought
might have
Andrew
just
bubbled
been,
himself.
yeah, I thought so too, but there might have just been like a little like miscommunication of Andrew like putting the bobble, Piper suing, and then Andrew being like, no, I'm bobbling myself.
All right, so Andrew did draw a land off the top. So this round 6 will be good to go next turn. There is unlicensed Hearst in Piper's hand, so that can actually disrupt that. He might have been intending, in fact, very naturally to assume that if I land this run, if I draw the second line for round 6, then I will have, the following lands, and that may not be the case.
All right, well, we'll see what the decision is going to end up being for Piper, and it is going to be that Hearst to hopefully slow that down and make it not so possible for Andrew to continue to pick up lands.
Yeah, and Piper knows after the Thoughtseize that Andrew is light on land. So Blood Moon as well. Although I'm not sure that Piper has a swamp, so that Blood Moon might be, or even a third land, actually.
And it's a little bit awkward when we don't have swamps and we have a Dothy Voidwalker and this Blood Moon in hand.
Well, if there isn't a land drawn at the top, then Piper won't have any hard decision to make because it won't be a possibility. All right, Andrew.
I mean, Andrew does have this breeding pool in hand too. It was one of the pickups off of the baubles, so we can maybe try and just like we could maybe try and like weasel around the Hearst, but it definitely is awkward nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, committing the run 6 on the board is still reason. Yeah, I was going to say, do you commit to the run 6 to the board or not when you know you're not getting a land anyway? And Andrew does not.
Yeah, decides not to. It seems better hope that some reaction is going to be in Andrew's future, but instead Piper not even going to do anything to react to and just draws and passes back to Andrew with a lightning bolt as the draw for turn.
Okay, now this makes some sense. Piper going to eat the Boseiju on the way out, and this does explain why the Ren 6 was not committed to the board. This does actually, I mean, if the Hearst is going to go down, at least Piper gets a land, which she needs, and there's the swamp.
And I was going to say, definitely also needs the basic swamp with the Blood Moon and said Dothy in hand, so this has got to feel pretty okay.
Yeah. Now I'm questioning myself whether that was actually a Voidwalker or it could have been a Turok. I don't know the Turoks would have come in here, but there was certainly some black creature.
Yeah, I think the one in hand right now is definitely a Dothy because you can see the little moon in the art.
All right, Rainforest important for Andrew to find an island preemptively, not knowing the Blood Moon's in hand, but we know it's there. And okay, here comes Dash Ragavan. Eats fire, which I mean, is that even the right choice? I mean, that Ragavan connecting was good for Piper last game, sort of.
I mean, considering that Andrew still won the game, I would say in the end, maybe not. The Blood Moon follow-up does lock us out of our own Dothy, but
it does, but it locks Andrew out of casting that Ren 6, just for starters. There is I can't do that. Yeah. That breeding pool doesn't have for green right now. So Andrew's hand, I mean, he's got that grape shot, which he seems to always have. And yeah, okay, pick up Jonathan.
Wow. And there's another Boseiju in Andrew's hand.
All right, Fable. That's a way to find a second black source.
And yeah, Andrew's probably hoping to find another Ragavan as a way to find a green source. So we're just all across the board looking for sources of mana that we just don't have right now. And Unholy Heat's at least going to try and keep Piper off of black mana for a little bit longer.
Okay, there we go. Giganta. Relevant. Who knew?
Not us. But maybe Gigantha's just better in this deck than the ones that we play, Joe.
That's possible. Although, also, it helps if you acknowledge it and remember that it's there, which was partially, the problem I was having. Okay, Ragavan.
And Season
And
Pyromancer.
more. And Season Pyromancer. Yeah. So pitch 1, which wasn't even a Voidwalker. Is that the same card? Weird. Yeah.
It looks. Yeah.
Yeah. So that wasn't even a Voidwalker in the first place. All right. Anyway, so biggest creatures on Andrew's side. The majority of the creatures are on Piper's side. That sounds like a stalemate to me.
We would have to throw all of our creatures on Piper's side in front of Gigantha to eat it, though. I mean, I would just let it attack, but.
Right. Yeah. No, that's okay. Well, there's okay, some uncertainty here.
Trying to think about attacking.
Gigantha also taps for mana. Another ability that we don't see all that often, but can get Red and 6 onto the board. Okay, there is Gigantha casting Red and 6. We're probably killing Ragavan, right? It's hard
I think
picking up lands isn't worth much right now with Blood Moon in play.
Very, very true. And the mana, as we saw from Gigantha, can't be spent to cast generic mana. So it's not like this mana can go exactly wherever we want it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to cast something when we haven't activated Ren yet?
I mean, we could Grape Shot.
Yes, true.
If the base issue hadn't been required to be played to get the Gigantha on the board, the mana now could be used off Gigantha to channel it, but that's just being a little too hypothetical. All right, here is the Grape Shot.
All right.
Teaming up with Ren 6 to clear out most of the board.
Grape Shots damage count on the day. 7.
4?
No, we've done two mana casts and 1 3 mana cast.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're right about that. I forgot about the 3. Okay, Reflection flips over. So Grape Shot has, it's efficient. 6 mana has been spent on Grape Shot to do 7 damage.
Yep. You're right. Seems great. Elemental finally found and put onto the field. The Reflection of Kiki-Jiki is here, an unlicensed source number 2 to try and put more of a stomp to Andrew's possibilities at ever comboing off.
So this token's not long for the world here. Yeah, attack Ren 6, I like that. So if the Ren wants to kill it, it'll exhaust itself. I don't know what creatures have the shortest average lifespan in Magic, but Reflection of Kiki-Jiki's got to be up there.
You think it's shorter than Ragavan's?
Well, maybe not Ragavan, but both of those things have real targets on them.
Yeah, very true.
I mean, yeah, and it's so not fair. Like anytime if you play a Thallid, it's going to live for 30 turns. No one will ever bother killing it. But why can't it be the same for the good creatures?
Because they're good.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what they say? Your haters are your biggest supporters.
Do they say that?
Some people do.
Okay. Hey, you haven't taught me any new lingo today.
I haven't taught you any new lingo today, as Piper is looking through Andrew's graveyard, trying to decide what is going to the super bin with unlicensed first. I'll have to now think of a word. I wasn't prepared for this. I didn't come prepared. And every word that's coming to my mind, I've either already told you or there's no way you don't know. Like, there's no way you don't know yeet.
Yeah, I have heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a well, that's going to be a long story, and I'm not going to bother with it right now in the middle of this game. But Piper draws another grief. So 3 discard spells in hand. Thought she's going to get fired off.
Unholy Heat and Scalding Turn, the only things available for Andrew. So these other griefs, not going to be able to do as much as we maybe would like for Piper. And Gigantha on the field, 5/5, red zone.
Is Andrew Elenbogen going to advance the top 8 on the back of Gigantha attacking?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. I mean, so far it's cast a run in 6, which was actually relevant. And now it's beating in.
Chat gave me a good one, but now things are happening in this game and there's not as much dead time. Oh, okay. Well, Piper, do you know what Riz is? Have you heard of Riz? Okay.
No.
Riz is like, this one I don't know super well. Like, I don't know the origin of it, but if you're like flirting with somebody and you do it really poorly, you could say to or like somebody else is doing it, you could say that they don't have any Riz. It's like they don't have any pizzazz. We can throw back like another old word, but it's kind of like that.
All right. I'll try and keep that in mind and probably forget it before the day's out.
But like Andrew Elenbogen's Gigantha has so much Riz.
Right. What about this unlicensed hearse? It needs a partner, right?
The unlicensed hearse right now has no Riz.
I mean, there's a Ragavan.
Oh, it's from Charisma? Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much from Twitch chat today. Okay.
All right, this actually is pretty significant if this connects. Dash Ragavan can get a treasure, which can hardcast a grief, which can completely upend the ability for this Gigantha to close this game out here.
All right, if you're not like me and you knew that Riz came from Charisma, you should follow the channel. And if you didn't know that Riz came from Charisma, you're welcome for the advice. Please follow the channel for more lingo with Becky that I don't actually know. I'm on it.
All right. In the meantime, Piper Powell has stabilized this board. Ragavan did find a grief. Andrew with just lands in hand. Draws red in 6. Oh no, red in 6 for 1 off the top.
You keep saying that red in 6
and again, it was Gigantha made the green mana to cast the red in 6 twice in that game off of in face of the Blood Moon. Gigantha was absolutely crucial.
Gigantha was crucial. It did 10 damage that game and made mana for red in 6. Wow.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Wow.
Well, Piper Powell comes up just a little bit short of making it through. Instead, Andrew Elenbogen will advance. All right. So let me run down what I've got here of our top 8. Our top 8 is going to be Andrew Elenbogen, who we just saw. In the other match this round, we had Zoe Reederman defeating Will Kruger. So Zoe will be in the top 8. From the previous, the 2-0 players in the double elimination were Ivan Espinosa, defending champion, still in the running, and Nicole Dubin, advancing at 2-0 out of the double elimination bracket. And then advancing from the group stages earlier in the day from Pod A, Connor Mullally and Max Komanowski, and from Pod B, Raja Suleiman and Jesse Robkin. So those will be your top 8 players tomorrow morning in the Pioneer double elimination to get things started at 9 a.m. Central. If we want to look at the commentators' picks, we can see how well everyone did and how many of them made it through. I believe the commentators overall did pretty well. Mappa Monte's pick, Joseph Bernal, did not make it through. Unfortunately, my pick also not make it through. Everyone else, Anurag, Dominic, Drake, Becky.
I know. I was sweating until the very end there, but Andrew, good job. Proud of you.
Yeah.
Crush it tomorrow.
Pick made it through. So Andrew playing for Becky, Raja playing for half the staff. We shall see. We shall see. All right. So my pick didn't quite make it. Derek Davis, eliminated along with 7 other players, but I'm sure, well, hopefully they all enjoyed their weekend. They all got jackets. They all got some very nice displays. If you head to Twitter and follow any of the players, I'm sure you can see a lot of them. I know posted pictures of their display boxes they received as competitors in the championship event. But tomorrow, the story will be about the 8 remaining players, starting off 3 rounds, double elimination of Pioneer, followed by the top 4 in finals, which are featuring Modern and Pioneer. One day left in the NRG Championship. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the morning. Good night.